About 700 million people suffer from hearing, speaking, or visual impairment. This equates to about 10% of the human population. Sign language is the primary mode of communication used by hearing and speech disabled people. People who aren't mute rarely understand sign language. This brings out a huge communication gap that exists between mute and non mute people. The effects of COVID 19 have made the lives of mute people even more difficult. Companies and educational institutions alike have moved to online communications to keep up with pandemic regulations. Online collaboration applications such as Zoom and Google Meet don't have the requisite tools to convert sign language to text or vice versa, which has created an even further gap in sharing ideas. This has caused a bigger rift in the progress of mute people compared to non mute. Therefore, it has become necessary that we not only remove this obstacle for them, but also give them a more opportunity for life. This is where the Universal Messaging app comes into play. Hi, I'm Arusha Duff.
And I'm Arihan Yadav.
We are the co-founders for Universal Messaging, a new startup that is focused on giving voice to mute people. Universal Messaging aims in bridging the communication gap, leveling the playing field, and providing an equal opportunity for all. Our product converts sign language to text, which is then further converted to speech using a text-to-speech converter. Universal Messaging takes in video input from a user who communicates through American Sign Language. It then uses a computer vision model to recognize hand gestures and then convert it to text. Universal Messaging uses an API from Google to convert text to speech. Universal Messaging also maintains privacy compliance and regulatory requirements of places such as the USA, EU, India, and China. We also have a multi-stage marketing plan that initially focuses on usage and users, and then eventually builds up into more profitable options. We'll cover this more in depth later.
Before we show how we'll market the product, we need to explain the technicalities of the product. The backend predictions for the Universal Messaging app were built through PyTorch, utilizing the pre-trained ResNet 50 model. We opted for a pre-trained model as this would cut down on training times, as well as the data needed to train an accurate model. The pre-trained model was then optimized for the task using data we collected from numerous images. A new output layer was also implemented so that it would detect what we wanted it to detect, which in this case is sign language. Each training image represented a frame that contained an example sign we signaled. Then using these frames, we trained the model so it could generalize towards American Sign Language gestures. We rewrote the last layer in the model numerous times, continually improving the model performance on both the training data as well as the images it was generalizing on. The generalized images represent the model's real-world performance, as it is not trained on them. This then provides results from the model, which it believes is seeing the actions demonstrated for the first time.
So first, we can see that with the sign hello, we have a very high hello percentage. Then after that, with the sign how, we have a very high how percentage. And then after that, with yes, we have a 99% yes. And after that, when no gestures are detected, we have a none percentage.
The prototype shows how American Sign Language can be interpreted and converted to text, making mute people equally involved in online discussions, as well as voicing their opinions and influencing their fields in their own way. After the model is completed, we will convert the code from Python to C++, as C++ is much faster. With this transition, our product will scale more easily, allowing for a larger customer base. Following this, we will begin to integrate the Universal Messaging app with other applications, such as Zoom and Google Meet. With these integrations, the scope of our product will increase, allowing for larger market opportunities. Once the main features have been implemented, we will turn our attention to the security and privacy aspects of our product. End-to-end encryption will be added to prevent consumer data leakage. Personal identifiable data will also not be collected at any point, so that user privacy remains intact. To make the Universal Messaging app easily adaptable by people who are not tech-savvy, we will enable over-the-air updates for any feature rollouts. Included in these rollouts would be features such as support for child-friendly chat modes and bidirectional capability for our application. Child-friendly chat modes would further widen our market reach, given that we could expand the reach of our technology to those who are younger. This would be done by filtering out dangerous or expletive words from suggestion phrases. Bidirectional capability is also a goal we want to achieve with our product. We will implement this feature using Google's Translate API and pass in audio from microphones to the API functions, which will then return a string representing what was said in the form of text. This feature would allow for those who are deaf to fully involve themselves in group conversations, or any conversation for that matter, where hearing would be a necessity.
Now we'll explain the go-to-market strategy for the Universal Messaging app. At first, our primary goal will be to increase usage and users. We'll begin by putting the app on both the App Store and Google Play Store. Instead of immediately adding a price to the app, we'll make it free for everybody for the first 3 months. We'll also use this period to collect feedback from the users and improve the feature set. We'll make offers to our buyers. Every person that they refer to this product that downloads it will bring them 1 more month of free trial. There will be a cap at 12 months, however. We'll also advertise universal messaging on forums and sites that are popular among mute people. An example of this would be ASL learning sites. We'll also advertise using Meta and Google Display ads. All of these factors combined will drive up the number of users exponentially. After the free trial period ends, there will be a set price at $1 a month. In order to deal with card transactions, we'll use a company named Square. Our cheaper price will make it a lot easier to outmaneuver other competitors. In this graph, we can see the percentage of users who chose to extend their free trial to a certain length. We can see the extremities on both the left and right sides of the graph. A large percentage of people wouldn't care about extending their free trial, while the others would try to extend their free trial to a max of 12 months. The remaining customers are then distributed in the center for variability. In the next graph, we can see the company's profit after a certain number of months. We can see how prototyping costs and production quality release will decrease the company's profits. However, after integrations with applications such as Zoom and Google Meet, and the addition of more security, privacy, and kid-friendly features, the profit will skyrocket.
Hundreds of millions of people suffer from some form of speaking, hearing, or visual impairment. Ever since the pandemic began, online learning and collaboration have been extremely difficult for them. Without the right set of tools, this communication issue will never be solved. The Universal Messaging app is solving this problem with its unique features of bidirectional translation, real-time computer vision processing, superior security and privacy, along with cheap costs for the consumer. Join our vision of seamless communication and exchange of ideas across mute and non-mute people, building inclusivity for all in our day-to-day life. Help us by funding the initiative. And as Chris Witt wisely pointed out, knowledge isn't power, but communicating knowledge is.